Okay, so now we have the zipper completely in. It's zipped all the way down. You're going to open the zipper and we're going to attach the lining and to finish kind of hiding up the zipper on the back side. So what you're going to do is first of all, take your lining piece with the interfacing, fold it up just about 1/4 of an inch and seam it right along the zipper, right along your foot is about the seam I do. And then we're going to take the right side of the material and put it right against, right against the, so it's kind of like you're making two parts. So the bodice is on two sides. And the reason for that is because you need the right side against the back of the zipper. So it's going to kind of do this once it's on together. You're going to have the zipper completely covered with the lining. So you put the right sides together with the zipper in between, so it's kind of sandwiched between there. You're going to put it right along the edge, and then you're going to take and just do down into the bottom of the ribbon. You need to line the lining up, the folded lining up of where it's going to actually cover up the skirt. So as you bring it across and when it gets flipped over inside out, so it's the inside of the dress, it's actually going to cover up that seam for the gathered part of the skirt, so that you won't have any of that part showing. So that's why you need to line that up. It might be a little, like mine doesn't quite fit, so it's got a little bit short on the top, and that's okay, and it's just because of the finished edge on this side. But it'll still be fine on the top, will be great. You just make sure you line it up on the bottom so that when you flip it over, you can actually sew it, hiding the gathered edge. Sorry, I had it earlier, so it's going to look like that. All right. After you've sewn that, next is to make that flap that we discussed earlier. So you're basically going to take and pin the material so there is a little bit of a lip that covers up 100% of the zipper. So you're going to make sure that it's way over the zipper front so that when you zip up the zipper, it is 100% covered. Okay, so you're just kind of making an extra lip like that. Once you get that pinned, then we're going to actually sew the lining on, which you then take and, I can't do this with holding the phone, but you're going to take and you're folding it around the zipper kind of tight, and you're going to line it up flat with the bodice. Okay, so go like this. Make sure the zipper is all the way on the other side. You got it folded over, and then you're going to line up. So you're going to just line that up, and then we're going to sew straight edge right along the edge, top edge of the bodice and the lining, so that we can flip it then inside out with the seam on top. So you're going to just follow this edge all the way around up to the top of the sleeves. On the sleeves, you're not going to go across the top though. You're only going to go up the sides. So you're going to sew up here to the top, stop, and then go down around the neckline, back up to the top, and this is how we're, oh, you can't even see that. I was pointing the wrong direction. Okay, so what you do is you put the zipper in between. You're going to put just a straight stitch along with the zipper. If you look inside, you got the zipper between the two pieces of fabric. So you're just laying it on flat. You're going to straight stitch down. And then once you finish the straight stitch, then you're going to go from the inside. I kind of release this. Oh. Take it open so you can see. So go from the inside, and you make sure you have that lip of material that covers up the zipper that we were talking about, the flap, to make sure it stays completely hidden, which I've done inside there. And then once you have the flap over, you're then going to fold over so it's actually folded around. So the zipper's down inside there now, and you're going to just pin it making sure you have the overlap here. Pin it all the way across. And then what I've done is I've actually pinned the lining to the bodice with the lining on the inside facing the right side. So the two right sides, the lining and the bodice, are facing each other with the inner facing on the outside. It becomes the inside once we actually sew it. So I've pinned everything, matching it all the way up and around. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to stitch all the way around. So you're going to stitch, and on the shoulders, you see this right here. So on the shoulders, you're going to stitch across, making sure that this is flat. You're just doing a 5/8 seam. So you're going to just stitch straight across. So you're going to go straight across here. Make sure you do your square corner here, and straight up the sleeves and end here. So you're not gonna sew across the shoulder. You don't want to do that, or you won't be able to turn out turn it inside out. So you're going to just go straight off the end as a straight stitch going straight off. Then you're going to just start here and go down and around the sleeve. Same thing all the way up the next shoulder. Again, do not sew across the top here. Otherwise you won't be able to flip it inside out. So you're just going to go straight up and then start on the next shoulder, going down around the back, all the way around, down around the other sleeve. And then we've pinned this again. So you've got it flipped over. The zipper is actually inside this, so it looks like it's not going to be seen, but we're only going across this top part. We've already sewed it on here, sewing it to the edge, making the side. Now we're just going to sew the top, so when we flip it inside out, that's going to be a corner with the zipper showing on the outside. Okay, so that's what we're doing next. Okay, so everything now is sewn. Go straight across, up. This was talking about the shoulders. See how you just do straight edges to the shoulders, all the way around, and then we're going to flip it right side out now. Okay, so you're just going to turn it, and each of the sleeves you're going to pull through. So we've got to clip the corners, sorry. You got to clip the corners first to make it straight. So you're going to go right straight into the corner of the square, and then any curves, you need to clip the corners of the curves. So all of these need to be clipped all the way through the arms. You do it about every 1/4 to 1/2 inch, depending on how steep of a curve it is. Super duper important you don't cut the seam. So now we're going to flip it right side out. So you're going to take the sleeve, I like to stick my fingers all the way through, and you're going to grab it and pull it right side out. So you're going to do that all the way across. And then you're going to flip the square all the way. Okay? You're going to tuck it so that it gives you the corner. Now, it's really important when you're doing this that you make sure you still have your little flap that goes over the top of the zipper. So now is when we're going to actually sew it down straight. So that at this point, and we only sew the blue, we don't go into the red at all. So you're going to use blue thread. I have the blue thread that matches, so we don't have all the outer stitches need to be the thread that we purchased, so that all of them match. You do tuck this kind of in a little bit so that there is that overlap. The back side, you're going to need to pull it away so that it doesn't catch on the zipper, but the front side needs to have that flap over the zipper. So you're going to pin those now. Once we get what we like and how it's the overlapping seam, then we're going to start pinning with the linings pushed back and the front outer layer has the overlap. So that's how you turn it right side out. Once you get that all pinned and ready to go, So it looks like that's completely pinned. We're going to straighten and smooth all of this in a minute. But you're going to get both sides, you're going to get it all, the flaps all ready to go. Then you're just going to sew one straight stitch down along the zipper. Make sure you do not catch the ribbon. You want the stitch to go underneath the ribbon so it's nice and clean. No blue on the yellow, so it looks nice. And then right at the top, after you get all this secured, you're going to do a hook and eye above the zipper. So there's a little hook and eye that we have that you put right above the zipper that keeps that top little lip together, okay? So that didn't work. It's probably the most time consuming is just making sure that zipper is completely covered, because this is going to be really important to give that enough material so when you actually zip it up, the blue is not going to show through because it does not match. It's a different color blue, and we don't want it to show at all. Okay, so you're just going to make sure it overlaps, tuck back the lining so that it gives us plenty of space to open and close the zipper. Once you get that all done, next step is to sew over the seam. So you're going to take and you're going to line up, again, belt out of the way, and use the blue thread from what we have. You're going to cover up the seam. So you got the seam here. You're going to take that little seam that you made and you're going to start covering and finishing up the inside of the dress. So you're going to just go and make sure it's flat so you've got enough. You're not doing it too short or too long. You're matching this up, and then you're just going to cover up and finish off the top by doing a straight stitch right along the blue. Make sure it's right along there so you do catch the lining and also the skirt. You'll go right along the blue edge here, barely above the blue, maybe not even a full foot. The foot's gonna be on the red somewhat, and you're gonna go right down along and you're gonna sew that together. So it's gonna finish the inside just as much as the outside. So it's gonna be nice and clean. You'll have the zipper done with a seam right next to the zipper, making sure that that flap stays over the top of the zipper, keeping the ribbon out of the way. We are not going to sew down the red. The red will cover up itself. I noticed as I went and did Aubrey's dress, if we leave it, it automatically just will fall with that covering up the zipper when we finish up the little bottom part. But once you finish that, it's the sleeves. To finish the sleeves, you take the two sides of the sleeves. One side is probably going to be wider than the other. So you're going to pull it taut, okay? Figure out which side is wider than the other one. So this one has the back. That one you're actually going to tuck in, not very much though, just a little bit. You're going to tuck in so that it kind of gives it a finished edge like that. And then this other side is going to go inside the shoulder sleeve. So just barely, because you don't want to shorten up the sleeves too much unless, of course, your daughter needs it to be shortened. And then you're going to pin it and do a straight stitch right along that line so you catch all the material in it. And that gives you the finished shoulder sleeves. I'll show you that again. So we're going to find out, make them flat. Front and back, okay? Figure out which one's wider, and it might be wider on one side, might go inside the other side, it might be different, the front might be wider. So whichever ends up being wider, this one is actually having the back be wider again, which is great. You're just going to take and fold in, again, fold in that edge, just barely, you don't want it too short, so fold it in, maybe 1/4 of an inch. If that, make it flat. You try to set it so that the lining doesn't show on the sides, because when you, that's how that ends